Good morning. I greet you in the name of Jesus Christ and in the warm and loving spirit of Unity Church of Raleigh. In unity, we welcome all people and honor the God of your understanding. We bless all churches and spiritual groups throughout the world because we know we are all sons and daughters of the same loving Creator, so we welcome everybody. My name is Melanie. I'm your platform leader today, and our musicians are Greg and Nisha, Susan, Alan, and Ann. Our speakers are the Reverends Doctors Bil and Cher Holton. So we always start our services with gratitude, and today I'm grateful for two things. First, this week I am knocked out by all the acts of loving kindness and generosity and support that people in our area and around the world are showing to each other. All the unique and creative ways that folks are getting together to be in community with each other. It is just beautiful. And the second thing that I am grateful for is that our Zoom chat last Sunday was really successful. All told, we had 16 or 17 folks participating, and it was fun, and it was supportive, and it was enlivening, and it was beautiful. So thank you for participating in that. So in that spirit of hope and gratitude, we remember the truth of this situation and all situations with our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life and affairs, God the good. And now let's just get quiet for a moment and go within and say our prayer for the planet. And we just affirm healing for all with this prayer. We know that God is a love that has no end and a power that knows no bounds. God's healing power of divine life is restoring, healing, and revitalizing our world this very moment. We let go of fears and anxieties, and we affirm all are safe, healthy, and protected. We bless all who support us in maintaining vibrant health. We express divine life in all we think, say, and do. And we bless our global family with radiant health, peace of mind, and abundant love. And so it is. Amen. And now, the AHA Band.
Good morning, everybody. We get assembled here. All right. Well, it started out down a dirty road. Started out all alone. And the sun went down as I crossed the hill. The town lit up. Still, I'm learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. The good old days may not return, and the rocks might melt. The sea may burn. I'm learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Learning to fly, coming down, learning to fly, it's the hardest thing. Learning to fly. Some say life will beat you down. Steal your crown. So I started out, God knows where. Guess I'll know when I get there. I'm learning to fly around the clouds. What goes up,
Learning to fly.
must come down. I'm learning to fly.
Learning to fly.
Ain't got wings. Coming down. It's the hardest thing. I'm learning to fly
Learning to fly.
around the clouds. What goes up
Learning to fly.
must come down. I'm learning to fly.
Learning to fly. Right. It's great to have the band back. That was awesome. Thank you. So now I would like to introduce our speakers today. Combine a flair for the dramatic, a deep understanding of metaphysics combined with the teachings of Jesus, and a zest for neuroscience and positive psychology, and you have defined the dynamic duo who are at the heart of the Global Center for Spiritual Practices. Now, this is a cyber home for people who are more spiritual and religious. Reverends Doctors Bil and Cher Holton bring deep experience and knowledge to their special ministry and to our ministry, and we're so grateful. They are dynamic and thought-provoking speakers, prolific authors, and spiritual teachers who believe our lives are the spiritual practice. Of course, most important of all, they are home folk, and we are so glad to have them. So, Reverends Doctors Bil and Cher Holton.
On behalf of your Sunday service team, we would like to start off by giving you a namaste hug. And if you can return that namaste hug, that would be wonderful. Here it goes again. Namaste. So you can hug digitally, isn't that great? And one of the privileges and the blessings that we get in our business is that we get to stand in the wings if we get here early and listen to the band play. And after they played their particular numbers, Sarah and I were standing on the sideline saying, It feels good when you listen to these guys. So it's been a pleasure being here this morning. And Sarah and I are also pleading the fifth this morning. So we thought that you would like to hear from both of us. So I'll start with this first half, and then Cheryl will finish up. And we feel privileged to work with you here. And on behalf of UCR, we send you our prayers and our heartfelt blessings and affirmations for your safety and your health and your security and wellness and financial security during these challenging times. And as you continue to honor your physical distance and take each other precautions to protect yourself and others, remember that there's no, and hear me, there's no geography in spirit. And so Sharon and I don't really say social distancing because that's not quite appropriate, is it? It's physical separation or physical distancing from a social standpoint, because as we're sending each other blessings and prayers, you can't get any more social than that, can you? And so be well and take care of each other and take care of UCR during this time, because Unity's message of hope is much more needed now than it ever has been needed before. Now, before we start our message today, we'd like to take a moment to center ourselves. So if you'll just sit back in your seating, get comfortable, take a nice, deep meditational breath, and relax, and with eyes closed, and with our connection with one another, with the rest of the folks who are here just like you are from your homes. Just know that we have within us the wisdom, the inner strength, and courage to handle any and all challenges or difficulties that come our way. And we know that every moment of our lives is filled with the presence of the indwelling Christ, which sustains us and revitalizes us and connects us to the core of our being. We are the face of God, individualized as us, the love of God expressed as us, the light of God illumined through us, and the life of God manifested in, as, and through us. And so we call forth that love, that light, that life as spiritual beings with each breath we take, with every thought we have, with every choice we make, and with every action we take for our own spiritual growth and the spiritual growth in service to others. We affirm that the one power in the universe, the omnipresence of God, sustains us and underwrites our wholeness as we move through this unprecedented experience. Realizing our connectiveness, we send healing energies to everyone, and collectively, divinely ordering our greater good for all concerned. So let's all take a deep breath and open our eyes as we continue this service. Okay, so let's get started. Everyone, look at your hands. Now make a fist with your right hand. With your fist still clenched, would you be able to offer someone a traditional handshake? Now, the most you could do is give them a fist bump, right? But it wouldn't be a traditional handshake at all, right? Okay. Now, open your fist and shake off all that negativity. Now, close your eyes. With your eyes closed, describe the object that I'm holding. Now, unless you're telepathic or clairvoyant or peek, now don't peek, it'll be difficult to describe what I'm holding, right? Okay, now open your eyes. When is the last time you bought one of these? Remember the days when you can find these anywhere? Interesting, huh? Difference in times. Well, thanks for helping us demonstrate the predicament of a New Testament Bible character named Nicodemus 2,000 years ago, who was so stuck in tight-fisted religious dogma that he couldn't see the truth because he had his eyes closed. That's why he had a come to Jesus moment when you think about it. Now, the writer of John's Gospel tells the story of this tight-fisted Pharisee who approached Jesus and asked, "How can we be born again?" Now, Nick had come to Jesus at night. Metaspiritually, night or darkness stands for the unawareness of or outright denial of our innate divinity. However, the name Nicodemus itself means an openness to higher truths. So Jesus put his arm around Nick's shoulder and said, "Nick, old buddy, just as you can't shake hands with a clenched fist or see hidden truths with your eyes closed, you can't be born again unless you up your consciousness." I'm paraphrasing, of course. Now, Jesus goes on to say, and I'm paraphrasing again, you've got to grow beyond your dogmatic religious beliefs and question unquestioned answers. Otherwise, you'll major in minor things. A little later in John's Gospel, in chapter 14, Jesus says, "In my Father's house are many mansions. Now, metaspiritually speaking, Father's house means divine mind, and many mansions stands for many levels of spiritual understanding. So questions which beg to be asked are, how many levels or dimensions are there in spiritual understanding, and how can I up my consciousness? Well, Unity's co-founder, Charles Fillmore, spoke of the fourth dimension. He called it the kingdom of the heavens, plural, kingdom of the heavens within. Quantum physicists tell us that there are at least 26 dimensions. Now, Sarah and I believe that there are countless dimensions. We also believe that the kingdom of the heavens within us is our divine nature. So how can you up your consciousness and tap into these levels or dimensions? Our short answer is by adopting a metaspiritual perspective. Now, Sarah and I have made that word up. A metaspiritual perspective is the marriage between evidence-based science, faith-based spirituality, and metaphysics. And it's that marriage that allows us to separate truth from fiction by questioning unquestioned answers. And when you question unquestioned answers, you'll be born again. That is, you'll birth the new you by outgrowing the old you who lived in darkness. You know, the tight-fisted Nicodemus you. Now, one of the many things Sarah and I love about the Unity movement is its higher consciousness focus. For example, Article 6 of Unity's Articles of Incorporation outlines Unity's bumped-up theology. The purpose of Unity Worldwide Ministries, it says, is to further the evolving of human consciousness by inspiring a new awareness of our spiritual nature. Now, in the early days of humankind's appearance on earth, human nature got us all in the habit of gravitating toward the banks of rivers that would help guarantee our safety, our sense of community, commerce, of course, and livelihood. Now, today, more than ever, we believe humankind's divine nature can gravitate us toward a different kind of stream, a stream of consciousness which unites us, a stream that focuses on universal truth principles, principles like compassion and loving kindness, inclusiveness, mutual respect, altruism, and doing no harm to each other or the planet. And because of the pandemic that we're all experiencing now, we're seeing a lot of these principles in action, aren't we? I know you are, we are. Now, in his epic poem, The Road Less Traveled, Robert Frost wrote, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference." Well, from a Unity standpoint, the two roads are our unenlightened, egocentric consciousness of our human nature, and the other road is our spirit-led divine nature. Now, Unity recommends the road less traveled, and the road that Robert Frost said is the road that makes all the difference. Unity minister and writer Eric Butterworth said this in his must-read book, Discover the Power Within You. If you haven't read that, it's a must-read. He says, "We totally misread Jesus' teachings if we fail to realize that Jesus was a student on the quest, just like us. The difference is he fully actualized his divine nature. And like him, we can actualize ours too." And he promised that we could do that. And how can we do that? By upping our consciousness. By upping our consciousness, we can live above any and all the negativity associated with our human experience. And by the way, the story about Jesus and Peter walking on water, that's the metaphor, that's the metaphysics behind that. We can stay above the negativity associated with the human experience. Imagine what a world we can co-create by upping our collective consciousness. Imagine what an even more dynamic ministry here you can create at UCR. Imagine truth talks that are constantly stimulating and transformative. Imagine the impact of your band and what that has on people who hear these wonderful people. Imagine the impact of a youth program that teaches your children Unity principles. Imagine an even more prosperous UCR, a UCR that's thriving, a UCR that's inflation-proof, a UCR that's pandemic-proof. Higher thoughts need landing gears, though. So here's some basic everyday wisdom we invite you to keep in mind as you up your consciousness. You ready? Even when you up your consciousness, you still must remember your zip code and passwords. You still must wash your hands, and you still must keep the physical distance at this point in time, right? If you laugh and drink soda pop at the same time, it's going to come out your nose. You ever had that experience? When someone with money meets someone with experience, the one with the experience will end up with the money, and the one with the money will end up with an experience that's beneficial to them, and the one with the experience, that had the money will end up with an experience. So that's generally how it works. Never turn a handheld vacuum cleaner on when you're holding a cat. And finally, this one comes from a beautiful 7-year-old. If your mom is mad at your dad, don't let her brush your hair. Doesn't work. So as I close my part of our talk, I just want to say that the road I've traveled on for the past 42 years has been with a wise and practical and beautiful love of my life and co-minister. Cher's got a few really neat spiritual practices to share with you as you up your consciousness.
Isn't he great? I love being isolated with him. It's awesome. So, Bill shared a little bit about what we mean by upping your consciousness. I get to share how to do it, some spiritual practices that can help. And you know, as we lovingly call ourselves Unitics, as Unitics, we have so many principles, so many truths, so many practices that we can use. And what's important now is to bring those to light and put them into practice. So I would like to talk about how we can become uppity Unitics. Now, normally it's not nice to call people uppity, but in this way we think it's powerful. So if you're up for it, would you give me a big thumbs up and we'll get started. So the first adventure that I'd like to share is to give up error thinking. Give up error thinking. When you give up error thinking, you're allowed to begin to really blossom in the way you see the world and the way you live your life. Now, we've had a lot of chances to practice this one these past few weeks, right? Error thinking like fear and doubt and false information and all those things that start eating away in your mind. But here's what's amazing. You can really get sucked up in the whirlpool of error thinking, or you can realize you're barking up the wrong tree and amp up your way to look at things a little differently. And that's a lot of uppityness. So what are we talking about when we say give up error thinking? We all know the way we handle fear. You've heard of this before. Fear generally gives us a couple of ways we can respond. We can respond with fight, flight, or just absolute freeze. But here's what's amazing. There's another response we have that's built into our body chemistry that nobody ever talks about. And this is the one you need to know. And this is something you can start practicing right this minute where you are as we move through this process. It's called the calm and connect response. And what it does is literally, from a science point of view, I'll just go scientific for 1 second here, it actually stimulates our vagus nerve. And for those who may not realize what the vagus nerve is, it is the longest and most complex nerve in the 12 pair of cranial nerves. And it literally is the superhighway in your body that goes between your brain and all your vital organs. So when you stimulate this with the technique we're going to share right now, you literally amp up that calm and connect response. Here's how it works, and then we're going to actually practice it. It's done to a count. So you're breathing in through your nose to a slow count of 4. You hold your breath for a slow count of 7, and then release slowly through pursed lips to a closed count of 8. So we're going to do this together, and I am not going to count out loud. I'm going to let you count in your mind, but I will use my fingers to help you for those who are visually need that little stimulus. And as we practice this technique, I invite you to pay attention to your neck and shoulders, because that's where a lot of our error thinking stress hangs out. Okay, so just pay attention, be aware of how you feel right now, and let's begin. So we're going to, through your nose, inhale, hold, and now release through pursed lips. One more time. Inhale, hold, now release. Be aware of how you feel right now. My hunch is a lot of you felt a real release and relaxation in your neck and shoulder area. But you know, you did something even more powerful. What you did is opened up your consciousness to begin to recognize and align your human nature with your divine nature, to release that blockage, to open yourself up to be able to have divine ideas flow through you, to activate that intuitive wisdom, and to maximize the vitality you need to actually take action. This is a great antidote to error thinking. Just amp up that breathing technique, calm and connect. Give up error thinking, amp up your breathing. Deep breath. Second technique. This is one you can do real easily. Open up your heart. Would you agree that now more than ever we need connectiveness? Sure, we're physically separated, but it's incredible how we can come together in other ways. Just this week, we were doing one of our Zoom talks, Zoom cafes, had about 18 people with us, and we had a wonderful discussion. And at the end, we just had this spontaneous divine idea to do a virtual group hug. And so we invited everybody to spread their arms out and then lean toward the camera and squeeze like you're giving and receiving a great big hug. It was palpable how that felt. It was incredible. We're going to start doing it all the time. In fact, those who join us on Zoom today, we're going to try it so you could experience it. It just reminds us that we don't have to be physically present to get that sense of connection. So look for ways to connect this week and open up your heart. Make those phone calls. If you think of somebody, just pick up the phone and call. Send blessings and energy to the people who are working so that those of us who are staying home are able to do so. And if you're one of the ones out there doing one of those essential jobs, then we invite you to send that blessing to the people you're serving, because believe me, they need that energy that you can send. Begin to think about other ways that you can connect. Perhaps you can behold the Christ nature in our leaders as they're making decisions, and just continue to affirm that the divine and intuitive wisdom is working in them as they work to make this all improve and that we can handle it. Try forgiveness. Forgive the people who are hoarding toilet paper and sanitizer and peanut butter. Why peanut butter? I don't know, but I'm ready to get my second jar. Forgive them, because you know that's coming from that place of fear. And give the gift of patience to all the people right now around you in your home, because we're not all used to being together for so much time. So have that gift of patience. Just realize that when you open up your heart, your light can shine. So we're going to give up error thinking. We're going to open up our heart. And the third thing we are going to do is ramp up our spiritual practice, because now more than ever, we need to use it. Here's a little thing I've learned in life. It seems like, and this is counterintuitive, but it seems like when we most need to use these spiritual practices and principles that we have, we least feel like doing it. I don't know why, but that's kind of how my experience has been. And so we need to make the conscious effort to ramp up our spiritual practices. Here's what will happen. Are you ready for this? Okay. If you give up error thinking and amp up that breathing of calm and connect, if we open up our hearts, if we ramp up our spiritual practices, if we amp up our time at headquarters, if we are prayed up every day in every possible way, if we wise up through reading and study, if we huddle up with virtual gatherings, if we speak up with our affirmations and our denials, if we are willing to wake up and wrap up each day with gratitude, we can show up as our most spiritual, divine best. That's uppity. And that's what we want to be. So if that's an uppity unitic, hey, give us uppity unitics. We are ready to take on the challenge. Because as uppity unitics, we know that together we can handle any situation we face. As together we walk the spiritual path on practical, positive, prosperous, and hey, uppity feet. Namaste and blessings.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Sharon. Thank you so much for that. That was wonderful. And this next song that we're going to sing is just about that, going to that place, staying in that place of higher consciousness. I'll be an uppity unitic. Sounds good to me. Let's do it. Let's count us in. Help me now. Oh, help me, y'all.
I'll take you there.
Help me now. I'll take you there. Help me, y'all.
I'll take you there.
Mercy.
I'll take you there.
Come on, we're gonna help me, y'all.
I'll take you there.
Come on, piano. Come on, Susan. In that place, I hear it. Come on, guitar grand, get it. All right. All right now. It's a healing place, y'all. Do it. Do it. Come on now. Let's go to church, y'all. Come on. Yeah. That's grounding energy right there. Do it. Do it. Come on now. We're going there. I know a place, yeah, yeah.
I'll take you there.
Ain't nobody crying.
I'll take you there.
Oh, ain't nobody worried.
I'll take you there.
Come on and go with me.
I'll take you there.
Don't you wanna go with me?
I'll take you there.
Yeah, take you there.
I'll take you there.
Don't you wanna go out, go with me?
I'll take you there.
Come on, let's go back to church now. Here we go. All right, let's go there. Amen. Woo-hoo.
Well, that was awesome. I think we should do it again. We have time. Oh, that was so fun. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Bil and Cher, thank you so much for that awesome talk. If you loved what you heard, we have the Zoom chat coming up after the service. I believe the link is on your website now. So just go ahead and click it. Give us about 5 minutes after everything ends, and we'll be glad to talk with you. And now it is time to invite you, please, to make your love offering. Do you love this amazing music program and these people? Do you love the fabulous speakers that we have here? Do you love our beautiful new church building? It still feels brand new. We just hit a 3rd anniversary in March. If you love your church, please support us. Yes, the building is closed, but church is not closed. We're still bringing you services. We're still doing all kinds of programs and activities virtually. We're paying for the building every month. We're paying for staff every month, and we need your support. That is how we thrive, thanks to wonderful people like y'all. So there are several ways you can do it. On the website now in the middle, there are purple words, and it says donate here, or there's text to give. You can now give through texting. And at the bottom of the screen, there's our mailing address so you can mail in your check. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you for your offering. We bless it, and we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you for continuing to support your church. Do you need prayer support? We want to help you with that as well. At the bottom of the screen, there's a prayer button. You can click that, or you can go to the Beliefs tab on the website, and you can find another way to connect in prayer and our Silent Unity, the 24/7 prayer call that you can make. You can call the church office, and we do have a prayer ministry pastoral care call team happening right now. We're trying to reach out to everybody to see how y'all are doing and to pray with you. So if you want a phone call, call the office or email us, and we will be glad to pray with you. So beautiful. And of course, we invite you to join us next week. It is Palm Sunday, and Reverend Wally White will be here with us. And after the service, the Zoom chat will be a soul talk on one of the 12 Unity powers. And so now, no matter what is happening to us or through us, we invite you to remember the truth and think on whatever is good and kind, noble and loving, peaceful and prospering, happy and healthy. And let your light shine in this great, big, beautiful world, because it is still a great, big, beautiful world, knowing that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we are, God is. All is well. And now, with our hands on our hearts, we're going to sing our prayer for the planet.
Walk with
I know a place ain't nobody crying, and this is that place right here in spirit. So we remain steadfast in faith, undisturbed by what is happening around us. It has no power over us. Peace is ours. Namaste.
Namaste.